Judgment. A lot of us get this wrong, so let's go ahead and look and see what the Bible has to say. Let's just walk through a couple of chapters that talks about judgment within its proper context. First, let's look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 1. Judge not that you be not judged, for with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you not say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. What this passage is saying is Jesus is setting a new precedent for how we are to judge each other who are amongst the believers. So what Jesus is saying is, how can I, who is married, as an example, have a side chick and go to the next man who is also a believer and say, hey man, you should probably stop sleeping with your side chick? But it's like, wait a minute, you have a side chick too. Fix your own mess first before you rightly judge your brother. The next verse we're going to look at is John chapter 12, verse 46. We're going to start in the middle. Before this, the context is Jesus is teaching the people that are following him and everyone else around him at this time. So we're going to start in the middle of the verse. I have come as a light into the world, that whoever believes in me should not abide in darkness. And if anyone hears my words and does not believe, I do not judge him. For I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. He who rejects me and does not receive my words has that which judges him. The word that I have spoken will judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken on my own authority, but the Father who sent me gave me a command, what I should say and what I should speak. What is Jesus saying here? That he came to save the world and not judge it? Yes, he came to save all of creation, to redeem all of creation and not execute final judgment just yet. He also says those that reject me have their word that will give them their judgment at the end, aka when they die or when he comes back for his second time in his full glory. Which means that's the final judgment, when we die or when he comes back in his full glory. Those that have rejected him and continue to reject him, they will receive their final judgment. But as of now, while you have breath in your life, while you have breath in your lungs, you have an opportunity to get to know and trust Jesus before judgment comes. This is the final judgment. Now let's look at 1 Corinthians chapter 5. This is Paul writing to the church in Corinth, which was going crazy. And this can be applied to our lives today. Let's see what he has to say. I wrote to you in your epistle not to keep company with sexually immoral people. Yet I certainly did not mean with the sexually immoral people of this world, or with covetous or extortioners or idolaters, since then you would need to go out of the world. But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone named a brother who is sexually immoral, or covetous, or an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, not even to eat with such a person. For what have I to do with judging those who are outside? Do you not judge those who are inside? But those who are outside, God judges. Therefore, put away yourselves the evil person. So what is Paul saying? Paul is writing to the church saying, hey, I didn't write that letter for the pagans. I wrote that for y'all inside the church, y'all that are doing these crazy sexually immoral things. I'm writing to y'all. And what does he say? He says we must judge within ourselves as believers with righteous judgment. What does he even go on to say? He even goes on to say that he even takes it further to say, if anyone claims to be a believer yet indulges in sexual sin, greed, idol worship, abusiveness, drunkard, or a cheat, don't even eat with those people. And he's talking about believers. In order for believers, if he was talking about the whole world, we would have to get off this earth, because the world is going to do what the world does, aka the system of the world and the beliefs of the world are going to do what they do. You can't escape that. Don't worry about judging that. God has the final judgment for that. But amongst us as believers, we are to pull our brother or sister aside and say, hey man, what are you doing? But make sure when you do that, that you yourself are not indulging in the same sin that they have going on. So pull the plank pull the plank out of your own eye before you take the speck out of your brother's eye. And don't worry about what the world is doing. They're going to be the world. Continue to minister to them, present the gospel, share the love of Jesus with them, walk life with them. But do not judge them, because you don't know if they're ever going to give their life to Christ. You don't know that. And it's best for us to reserve that judgment for God when that time comes. If you win them to Christ, great. You plant the seed and you continue to walk with them. But when it comes to our brothers and sisters within the body, within the church, we have to exert righteous judgment. We have to. Because if you say you're a brother, but you do not follow what Jesus' teachings are, we have to, hey man, slow it down. What are you doing? Let's walk through the scriptures together. And if you can win your brother or sister back within the graces of what the Bible teaches, great, awesome. Keep it going.